Okay. So see, now that we know that what is a scheduler and what it is really capable of doing, the next point is that what is the kind of the base platform, what is it that you build up into the autosys and you start from. So the building blocks or the starting point in autosys is what we call as jobs. Okay. So jobs are nothing but they are kind of scheduled events which are capable internally of running or executing something, which could be even a remote machine. So that's how it works out. So if you look at the jobs, there are two, first of all, different ways to create jobs, as in how you could create a job. One goes that there's a graphical interface that comes with Autosys, and you could create a job using that. So in the current Autosys version, that's called IXP. So that's their Java built interface. So you can create a job using the IXP, or
Is it on the Unix environment or
no, IXP runs on a web browser. So it's kind of it's a web browser interface. You just go and so it's based on Java applet actually. IXP, it's built on Java applet. So once you would click on a link, it usually loads up this Java environment, and finally you see a screen laid out with some options and some information, and there you can even create a new job. That's IXP. And the second one is the JIL, which is Job Information Language. Now that's the kind of scripting language which we use to create a job in Autosys. And a JIL is a kind of utility again which can be used this time on the Linux also. So either you run it from the Windows using IXP, or if you have only a Linux or Unix kind of environment exposure, then you can create a JIL and submit it through the command line utilities they've given to you to creating jobs and doing other things.
so the question is, why do we create the jobs in autosys? Jobs should be coming from the Unix, right?
No, no, no. Okay. So see, when you say jobs, okay, I see your point. So there are two things, Ram. One is that you need to execute something. Okay. So let's say in Unix there's a script which can automatically start one of your event servers. So let's assume that you work on Oracle, and in Oracle you have written a couple of scripts which can read the FTP files from a location. So it has some customer and employee information. This files which are FTP to your server. So this is your local server. Okay, ls local server. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so you FTP to your local server. From here, once the files arrive, you have a file watcher. So that's the file watcher. Okay, so now as soon as the files arrive on the local that portable drive, the file watcher gets activated. It's a job, so it gets triggered saying okay, the file has arrived. So in turn, what it would do is it would have a trigger going next to the command job. So this is a command job. Now within the command job, you could have an option to say what to do next. So let's say if you have an ab initio job, so ab initios run usually on the Unix or the Linux environment. They are scripts. So this command job would in turn invoke that script from the ab initio, whatever script you created,
Okay.
okay, and starts running. So that's the idea. So this is one flow where the first job in the flow is the file watcher. It keeps waiting for the files on the local server. So someone FTPs it, we are not bothered who, but once it FTPs, the file watcher is successful. It triggers the command job in turn. The command job internally would have a kind of script written saying okay, amnesia.ksh some parameters, and runs, and all of
So
this.
in the file watcher, are we going to specify these are the file type that we need to wait for, things like that, some kind of the triggering
Yes. So you have to tell it somewhere what's the directory it's waiting for, and what is the, I think,
okay,
file type also. I think we look at
file
what
type. Okay, okay,
it's
file type.
absolutely. And if you
Okay,
want to just organize it better, these things could be put together into a box.
box. Yeah, I got it.
All right. Okay. So that's how the overflow looks like. Okay. I think we won't go to this for now. Okay. So for example, this is a sample file watcher job. If you look at, so let's look at what are these parts to it. So first you say so these are syntaxes that we'll kind of start learning in a short while. So since it's a new job, the first line says insert job, and this is the name of the job I've given. End of the day, what sample. Then this is job type. Yeah, okay, interesting. Now, while I say job type, let me mention this. So as I said, there are three kind of jobs. The job type is the parameter which defines or which segregates what kind of job it is. If it is a F, it's a file watcher. If it is a C, it is for a command job, and if it's a B, it's a box. That's how we differentiate things. Okay, so it's a job type. Okay, now watch underscore file is the file which we are waiting for. So we say, okay, in this directory, this is the path of the file. Then what is the minimum size? Now see, the concept is this, Ram. Let's say if I would have not given these, the size of the file, what might happen is, that as soon as the files start getting transferred, right, you'll at least see the files getting created. Maybe the transfer is still not complete, but the names, happen to be there on the drive. Now, if it is a very big file to be FTP, let's say which takes about 20 minutes to FTP, what would happen is the autosys, if not given this value, which is the file minimum size, it would assume the file is automatically arrived, okay, and it kicks off the ab initio process. So for a moment, let's assume that this option is not defined. So as soon as the FTP starts, the file gets created in this temp directory, and the file watcher kicks off the next job, saying the file is arrived. The problem being, for big files, the transfers take time, and if you start reading the file in between, you'll definitely have errors, because the rows might not complete, the data would not be complete. So we say, what is the minimum size of the file which should get created before we start reading? So we say, okay, the minimum size, for example, is 10 bytes. So once 10 bytes is transferred, then you start reading the data. So when we talk about dependencies, the jobs just don't run in parallel. So if you look at these two jobs we created here, the first one is actually set on a time trigger. So we say date and time plus any other conditions. If they are met, you start the job, which is, let's say, a backup job. Once the backup job completes, you say this second job which starts, which is called the job clean, which is about maybe like cleaning up some schemas. So this would wait for the success of the job backup, plus yes, any other dependency conditions which you have set on top of it. So once all of that is met, the job clean starts, and then when it's complete, we say this status success. This they have created in this environment. So these are the jobs. Okay. If you look at, they have the color codes, which I think you can look at on the right hand side here. So you got your failure, success, running, on ice. So because the multiple jobs, so each job could have different status at different point of time. So if we talk about, let's say, this one, the first on top here, this job now to me seems to be running at the moment green. Okay, it says running.
Right. Okay.
So the interface, the graphical one, well, talks about different status with the color coding. So it just becomes a bit more, easy at times to look at things of how they are.
Okay.
Is that fine?
How do they add these jobs? Do you know? How do you?
Yeah, we will come down to that absolutely. So once
Okay.
we'll probably sometime tomorrow we'll see if we can do it through the IXP. But yeah, we'll add jobs.
Okay.
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 Now let's see what else is there. Okay. So what happens when you look at the IXP? So let's say we just talk about this job for the moment. Let's get into the details. So when you click on this job, it will automatically first of all come up here. So it says running right at the moment. Okay. Or if you, let's say, click on this one, takes some time. Okay. So as soon as I click it, it comes up on this side of it. So
Oh, it's so in that job there are so many things inside.
yeah, exactly. That's
Is that
five
right?
means exactly, yes.
Oh, the
Yeah.
5. Oh,
So
okay,
when you
okay, I got
expand,
it.
so it's kind of box, you could say. So when you say expand
Right.
all,
Then it shows you all the expanded. Man, what are these all jobs, man? This many that they have?
yes, because see what happens, when you look at from from let's say I'm an application team guy who works on Oracle. So for me, I just has one or two jobs to run on autosys. But for you, who's into a batch scheduling team kind of thing, you would actually look at 50 projects in parallel. So on your side of thing, you'll always have these many things coming up.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Makes sense.
So now this box, so it says box. So that naming conventions essentially that makes it a bit easy to understand. So it's a box job which contains 5 dependent jobs. One I think sends an email. The other ones are about starting and stopping something. The idea was when I clicked on this, right, and it showed those 5 boxes. If you see on this right hand side screen down here, let me expand it a bit. Do you see this highlighted box?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the box actually that looks graphically to the right hand side. So let's zoom in a bit more to see if it can get a bit more clearer for us. Okay, so as I keep zooming in, you'll start seeing those names as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so here it comes. Those 5 jobs that we're talking about. Okay, it's a bit more zoomed.
So you can see those jobs directly, jobs names in that
Yes.
box, specific
Yes,
box.
exactly. So as of now, this box is not in an active state. So you will see, how you could see the state and things. So I think let's probably dig into this box and see what all, you can really make out of it. So first of all, for the box, which is, this outer one, let's see. So when you click on the box, you say, so there are a lot of options, which will come up. Okay. So as of now, let's look at the information for this job. So you go to the job information. I'm stuck.
Where did server this running the client? This is a client. That's what you call XP is a client, right?
Yeah, IXP is a client. Absolutely, yes.
It's a Java applet, basically.
Yes, right. And internally, all it does is, it calls the GIL. So whatever you see in terms, if you create a job from here, this is
Okay.
also submitted to the GIL, and that's the only way you actually get into the autosys database.
Okay.
No other way to access
Basically,
that.
it's like your Windows to
It's,
your
yeah,
main task commands.
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so when you click on the job definition, we'll first look at, so job definition means, how a GIL looks like. So when you create a box, you'll also have a GIL for that. So it's gonna actually show me the GIL
Okay.
coming up for this. So see,
Cool.
here's the information. So it's insert job, the name, job type B, which is for a box. Who's the owner and all that. Permissions, you could read and execute. This is the description. So this box is used for bouncing application servers. Okay, job terminator is 1, which means if the job terminates, do you want some message to be sent? So 1 is like yes. Max run alarm, which is like once this job runs for more than 60 seconds, an alarm is automatically created. So the concept being this, you expect a job to run, let's say, 1 hour. Okay, if one day it runs for 3 hours, you say there's something wrong, which is probably making this job wait for a long time. So you say let's raise an alarm because it would delay the other jobs also.
Jobs.
So it's like a max run alarm time, and then alarm if fail. So if it fails, do you want an alarm or not? So a lot of commands, a lot of these sub commands you could say, which are the notices. So I'll try and share that PDF which would actually have all of them in detail. And it's not necessary that all of them are put in use, but probably having them is kind of handy. So I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the job definition for this box. If you go again there, if you say detailed report, let's see what it pops up.
I hope that you're not disturbing their servers or something.
No, because it's a machine which is placed. Okay, now this screen that you see here, detail report. Detail report would actually tell you, that there is a box, and that box has dependency on any other machine. You'll get all of that in detail.
Oh, okay.
So as of now, it shows you nothing. But I think once we do some running, I think you should get some information. Okay, then. Here it is. Okay. Run data. Now this would tell you how many times the job ran in history. Okay, no information at all. Well, let's pick up a job which is actually running or something. Let's pick up this one maybe. So it has about 480 jobs as you see in the sub box.